Welcome back to Watches, Whiskeys, and Wines, the channel where we explore watches, whiskeys, and wines. Today, we're going to take a look at the Dalmore 14-year. I think we're going to like it. It's matured in American white oak and Pedro Ximénez sherry casks. I think that's fun. I think that's interesting. I'm looking forward to drinking it and letting you know what I think. The first thing we're going to do, obviously, is talk a little bit about the history and location of the Dalmore. Then we're going to talk about the presentation, the box, and also the bottle itself. Then we're going to smell the aroma, put it on our palate, and then finally, we're going to put it with some pairings, because you know I love pairings, and I think we have some interesting stuff today to mix it with when it comes to pairings. So I want you to sit back and relax, pour yourself something nice to drink, and let's get started. So we're going to touch a little bit on the history and also the location of Dalmore. As we talked about in other videos, and like we're going to cover across this series, we're going to go deeper and deeper into the history and location of the Dalmore. It's in the Scottish Highlands, Northern Highlands, which is important because when you're located close to the sea and you have influence of, I would say, probably a cool summer and a very cool winter, it keeps the wood tight. And it keeps a lot of the flavor packed in there, which gives it subtleness and also smoothness. And you're going to experience that in Dalmore, no matter what it is. Something I like. I love the Dalmore. My brother loves the Dalmore. It's his favorite. And I've got to say that he's got good taste. You know, we're related, so obviously he does. But he's telling me more and more that the Dalmore is his favorite, and I agree with him. It's one of the best whiskeys out there. And I have to say, across their entire series, I've been pretty damn happy. What I'm going to do in this series of videos I'm actually going to show that. I'm going to show you the 12-year, I'm going to show you the 14-year, the 15-year, the cigar malt, take it all the way to the King Alexander III. You're going to see how amazing this lineup is, and you're going to say to yourself, okay, I like the Dalmore. I did another series that was Glenmorangie. Once again, great. What's different about this, it's a little more subtle. What's different about this is a little more smooth. That comes from the, like I said, the cool summers and the very cool winters. That just keeps it very, I would say, restrained, and that's what happens when you keep that wood restrained. It keeps a lot more of those layers in there, but not as much of the distillation process really eating into the value of the whiskey itself. It still keeps it nice and round. So we're gonna see that here. With this 14-year, we have an aging process that goes pretty normal. It's the 9 years in the American X bourbon cask. So it's matured in American white oak, and then afterwards is the Pedro Ximénez sherry cask. And it's 5 years in the sherry cask, which is important because that's where you get a lot of those flavors that are going to be the strong sherry flavors. Of course, the American white oak gives you that honey, it gives you that oak, it gives you the, I would say vanilla. It gives you a lot of that, and those are the tones that are important when you're initially smelling it and you're tasting it, and then on the palate you're going to get a lot more of the softness that comes from maybe like the dark chocolate or, you know, almonds or something a little more nutty. That's what's going to come afterwards, and that comes from the sherry cask. Also, the sherry cask almost imparts almost like a wine flavor onto it, which I love. I think it's important when you have those flavors married together. You do not want a whiskey to be flat. Now let's go ahead and take a look at this presentation, put it on our palate, smell it, and see what we think. I'm not going to make a cocktail with this. Usually I only do that with the lowest tier, and the 12 years basically the lowest tier of Dalmore, which is still amazing. Don't get me wrong, I love it straight. But if you're going to make a cocktail, it's usually with the lowest tier of whatever Scotch, whatever whiskey you have. So now let's go ahead and take a look at this presentation. It's still, I guess, a purple. It's more like a wine purple, lighter, very nice. It's got that silver, like I said, it's like a nice silver, you know, a little raised, but nice. When you look at a box of the Dalmore, it looks great. I really like what they do here. They've also got this embossing on it, and it's very nice as well. It's got like a little bit of a design. It feels great on the hand. Obviously, on the back, it's got text. I'm going to read a little bit of it. A Royal Heritage. Bestowed in 1263 by the King of Scotland, the royal 12-point stag proudly adorns each bottle of the Dalmore, encapsulating the distillery's regal legacy. Cool. Talks about the art of Dalmore, aged 14 years. An astounding single malt, matured in American white oak, ex-bourbon cask, and finessed in rare and aged Pedro Ximénez sherry cask. Great. You know, we like sherry. We like the wine flavor. We like what that imparts on whiskey. I think it's important to have layers. I think it's important to have, you know, not just layers, but layers that signify something, that have more flavor, that make you go, wow. Each year, each bottle type is different, and that's what you're going to get here because it's different than what we had in the 12-year, which the 12-year was still great. Talks about the aroma. It says warm honey, dates, Seville orange zest, which orange zest, you know, very, I would say, oily, strong, you know, citrus scent. Rich raisins and allspice. And allspice is the smell of I guess I would say Christmas or Thanksgiving. You know, if you're American, it's a strong scent that is nice. It can be used in a lot of different types of food, but it brings out a lot of things that remind you of the holidays. On the palate, figs, dates, roasted hazelnuts, roasted coffee, and maple syrup. Roasted coffee. What does that mean? Roasted coffee is rich and strong and woodsy. It wakes you up. It's that smell you smell in the house where you go, oh, I love that. You know, it makes you excited for the day. It makes you want to wake up and be full of energy. And that's what you're going to get here in this roasted coffee. So we're going to see that. It also says maple syrup. That reminds me of breakfast. Maple syrup is sweet. It's trickle. It's the cooking of sugar, and that cooking down, it turns into like a dark molasses. And that's what you're going to get from maple syrup, which is sweet. Obviously, maple syrup comes from, you know, much more concentrated flavor of sugars, and that's what you're going to see here. So looking forward to it. It says finishing notes. Rich, dark fruits, licorice, love licorice, marmalade, and depths of cocoa. So cocoa is going to be a tough one. I'm going to have to look for that. I mean, I like cocoa, and if it's got sherry cask, most likely that might be there. And then, of course, when it says marmalade, that's like, you know, jams, very strong, fruity. Licorice, very distinct. So we're going to see. Open it up. Inside the box is normal. Of course, the foil matches what the exterior box looks like. I love it. Raised. Beautiful display of what Dalmore does. Love this in my collection. Love to see it in other people's collection. It looks special. Looks special every single time I see it. I like it. I love it. And the 14-year even better. But the bottles don't change much. They look basically the same no matter how much money you spent, which is a little disappointing. But as long as the box has changed, that's great. So as an example, if you watch my video on Glenmorangie Signet and also the Glenmorangie series, you're going to see once they have the Signet bottle, it looks different. It feels different. It feels heavy. Love it. I'm not saying they have to do that here. They can do whatever they want, but I like it when as you spend more money and you've got a greater age and it's a higher tier, you got a little bit of a different presentation on both the box and the bottle. But let's go ahead and open it up and see what we think about it. Open the foil first. Just a standard foil. Rips off pretty easily. Once again, got the black lid. Not that much different. Not much of a pop there. There is syrup. For sure. I mean, it didn't say it was on the aromas, but I could smell it. Nice pour. Dark golden color. Very dark golden. I was expecting for the sherry to have more of an amber look, but not so much. But yeah, it's there, but not as much. I'd almost say floral. Oak, yeah. I mean, it's easy to get the oak when you've got ex-bourbon cask. The sherry, maybe a little bit of the wine smell. That means you're getting a little bit of fruit. It's actually got a great smell. The fig, I see that here. Yes. I see some fruitiness. See what happens. Let's go ahead and put it on the palate. Immediately, as soon as I put it in, sweetness. Sweetness filling the mouth. Little bit of a burn, not very much, not too acidic, but a little bit more than I expected. I put this at a smoothness of maybe a 6, 5.5 to 6. Yeah, maybe a 6. But great flavor, very sweet. A lot of marmalade, a lot of maple. The maple syrup absolutely encapsulates your mouth. It's like eating a pancake in the morning, reminds you of breakfast. Roasted coffee, don't really get that. No, don't get that. I get a lot more sweetness. A lot more. Very sweet, very fruity, very much like breakfast. I got some pairings to go with it, but honestly, I think I picked the wrong pairings. And this happens. You know, I should have done a lot more dark chocolate. Like much darker, much heavier chocolate. But let's see what happens. I've got a very interesting buttery popcorn that's got sea salt and dark chocolate. But let's see. Too much sweetness. Too much sweetness together. I should have gone with something more salty. Yeah, doesn't really match well. This is a Ecuadorian dark chocolate with sal de Cusco and nibs, which is nibs of chocolate with, it's just the cacao that's left over, the little bit of nibs that they roast. And the sal de Cusco is just salt from an area called Cusco. That's great. It's good, but it's not perfect. It's still a little too sweet, but good. This is a pistachio with dark chocolate. Very nice. This goes well with it. Pistachio is a lot more earthy. There's a lot more saltiness there. The dark chocolate cuts through because it's got fats. And then the sweetness from the Scotch, this particular Scotch, doesn't really overpower it, and they don't get overpower either side. Which the other ones were overpowered. This is a dark chocolate cashew. I mean, honestly, none of these really go with it well. I would have either done a darker chocolate that's more amargo, which is more bitter, or I've done something salty and spicy. Because this is so sweet on the palate, it actually needs something salty. It needs something more spicy. I didn't get that here, but it's okay. I wouldn't say you couldn't do these things, but they're not perfect with it. Every once in a while, I make a mistake with pairings just like anyone else does. So, I want to thank you very much for joining me today. I hope you learned something new today. This 14 here is great. I'm sure it's going to be in my collection. Even the 12 year is going to be in my collection. Please join me as we go along this journey to the 15 year, the cigar malt, and then finally we finish on the King Alexander III. You know, I'm hoping you're learning something new every day. I look forward to you joining me again. Please like, subscribe, and share. It's very important that we grow our community so that we can find other people who enjoy what we enjoy. And comment. Let me know what you're looking for next. Let me know how you feel about my videos. Always looking to learn, always looking to contribute. Thank you and take care.